Hello, everyone, and welcome back to NCOIL One-on-One. With us here today is West Virginia Delegate Walter Hall, Vice Chair of the West Virginia House Banking and Insurance Committee and NCOIL Executive Committee member. Delegate Hall, thank you so much for taking the time.
Yes, thank you for the opportunity.
Sure. So let's hop right in. Can you tell us how you first kind of got involved in public service?
Well, I got involved in public service out of a strong desire to make a difference in my community. Growing up in West Virginia, I saw firsthand how volunteering can make a true difference. My parents instilled in me at a young age a desire to serve and help our community members. When I was growing up, my mom, man, she was always at the ball field. She was always in the courts. She served and volunteered our school PTA in some capacity with each of my athletic teams and programs. She was heavily involved in our church. I was just a little boy following her along at all these different functions, and I thought we were the most popular people in the world. It was just like every time we turned around, we were going somewhere. And as I aged and become an adult and graduated from Marshall University, I volunteered within my Rotary Club, a couple different civic organizations. And I just felt it was important for candidates for public office to engage in your community first, get involved, see where your need is, identify what the need and opportunities are. And so at that point, I chose to run for public office in my own municipality as city council at large, eventually vice mayor, and then had the opportunity to run for public office at the state level for the West Virginia House of Delegates. I think a strong quote from attributed to Mahatma Gandhi, West Virginia slang there. The best way to find yourself is in the service of others. And I think it gives me peace and turns a bad day into a good day each and every time I do something positive in the community.
That's great to hear. So you're also involved in your community in other professional capacity as a licensed insurance agent. How does that perspective, kind of being a business leader and helping your constituents in that way, translate to being in the legislature?
Yeah, absolutely. Being a licensed insurance agent has given me the ability to see things from a customer, from a policyholder's point of view, from my neighbor's point of view. Uh, uh, the changes in how I look at legislation, I've sat across the table from families and small business owners to understand why their premium jumped or why their claim was denied. And those moments taught me that people don't want jargon and big insurance words. They want someone who will listen, explain things clearly, and fight for what's fair. That principle, really putting yourself in the other person's shoes, guides me both as an agent and as a legislator. So it has become a way for me to connect.
That's great. And so, what issues have you been most involved with throughout your time in the legislature?
Well, being vice chair of banking and insurance, I spend a significant amount of time on reviewing issues and proposed legislation within the industry. Beyond that, I'm also focused on economic development, tourism opportunities that can benefit my district and the state as a whole. One issue I've been particularly passionate about in the past year is supporting cancer patients. Patrick, I lived the experience my sister fought when battling cancer. And I became very passionate about supporting cancer patients, especially women, through legislation that would help provide access, health care to scalp cooling systems. I believe preserving hair during treatment is just not about appearance. It's also about holding a sense of dignity, identity, um, uh, control during a very difficult time. I saw a very confident sister, a very confident person that I greatly admired and looked up to, who was diagnosed with cancer and hair follicles just started coming out, and I saw her confidence level drop a little bit. and had the opportunity to work on some legislation to provide coverage for scalp cooling systems. So I will continue that fight next year in the West Virginia legislature. With that, most importantly, I guess I've dedicated over a decade as the community educator for the Alzheimer's Association for the state of West Virginia. And I've been proud to sponsor two key pieces of legislation in the past 2 years. One that created a West Virginia task force team. We surveyed different applicants and reviewed different qualifications and formulated a team of 19 and created this West Virginia task force. And another was to establish a dementia services director position for our state. Will now be one of 28 other states that has this position. NCOIL provided me the opportunity to talk to some other legislators that had promoted this position. So both are aimed at improving support and care for individuals and families facing dementia. Passion of mine, and I'll continue to see it through.
All very worthy causes. I'm sure it keeps you very busy both in the legislature and as an insurance agent. Are you involved in any other issues in your community, any other capacities that kind of takes a lot of your time away too?
Well, I have nonprofit work. I mentioned the Rotary Club, um, community involvement. Anyone that knows me here, not only in this county but surrounding counties and quite a few across the state, is that I'm a sucker for an opportunity to volunteer for a great cause, and being involved on city council allowed me to become engaged in fairs and festivals, not only by volunteering, but also chairing those fairs or festival and leading the charge. The Rotary Club, my parents both passed away. They instilled in me the drive and desire to volunteer, make a difference in my community. Our city zip code is 25177. And the logo, in which I designed as a marketing major and graduate, is the 25177 with the one. You're the one who can make a difference in your community. And it's a nonprofit, 501c3. And we give back to youth groups and we make donations to youth groups based on their participation in my community service events. So I adopted a highway here on State Route 64. And I have groups that come and spend 2 or 3 hours. And we'll go around and pick up litter and debris and just volunteer for our trails, whatever the case may be. And I'll give them $10 per person. You show up with 30 people for your soccer team or 30 for your basketball team, multiply it by 10, you get a $300 donation. You earn your donation. And then I give away scholarships in honor of my parents to local trade schools and technical colleges, because my dad was a CDL licensed truck driver. And he worked hard for our family. My mother was a housewife, and I admire hard work. And I want to reward kids and our youth who are willing to engage in these trade schools and learn a trade. Volunteer for the Alzheimer's Association, Chamber of Commerce, autistic causes. Man, I could go on and on about my community involvement, and I tag myself as a community conservative in my district, and that's because I'm engaged in my community and I know what it needs.
That's great. So community engagement is obviously something that's very personal to you. It definitely seems like you're practicing what you preach. What do you think the importance is, for everybody to get involved and get engaged, as they go about their lives living in their communities?
Well, I fall back on the quote I read earlier. If you're having a bad day and you need to lift yourself up and see if you're needed on that particular day, is to go help somebody else. I sponsor an event through our local police department, 1 or 2 weeks. I can't give the exact day because everybody be coming to St. Albans to be pulled over. But I tagged it as Random Acts of Kindness Day. And through my foundation, I purchase gift cards. So it's gift cards instead of citations. We ride along with a local police officer, or I go to our local grocery store. Grocery store chain here is in Kroger's. As I go through Kroger aisles and I see families, I see kids. I love kids, man. I love helping. And my wife and I were unable to have children, so I think we both have a passion to help children. And Uncle and Uncle Walt and Aunt Sue help as many as we can. So I just think it's important to engage in your community, give a hand to help others. So the Random Acts of Kindness does just that. And we're on about 12 years of that program.
That's an awesome program. I'm sure it's definitely a big hit in the community.
It is from outside the community as well, if they hear about it.
For sure. So outside of all the good work you're doing in West Virginia, you're also now very involved here at NCOIL. Kind of switching gears, can you tell us how you kind of first got involved and how you first heard of NCOIL?
Well, I have to give credit to Steve Westfall. He was a delegate from West Virginia who I believe had been engaged with NCOIL for 10 or 12 years, chair, vice chair, co-sponsored some model act, and he provided me the opportunity to visit a couple of years ago. And in doing that, um, he invited me to attend in 2022. And I can honestly say it was one of the best decisions that I've made. You know how engaged I am. If I'm in, I'm in. I'm all in. We were supposed to attend 4 or 5 meetings, and we got 7 or 8 meetings. I attend 6 or 7, and I just try to educate myself the best I can, serve my public and my industry to the best of my ability, and don't hold back.
That's great. And so how would you describe your overall experience with the organization throughout your involvement?
Oh, it's been very rewarding, challenging. I'm an old competitor, basketball player in my day, so competing and getting the opportunity to engage in so many topics that I may not be familiar with, but I'm willing to learn, and that's the challenge. And being a competitor, I want to learn as much about that uh, topic as possible, and hopes of bringing back quality legislation back to the state of West Virginia.
That's great. So speaking about quality pieces of legislation, are there any issues you would like to see NCOIL kind of take a lead on in either this year or in the years ahead?
Well, I'm looking at 2 pieces of legislation that I think are important to not only this area, but I think throughout our area, Patrick, that we all face challenges around long-term care, memory care facilities, if you will, for the dementia patients. An aging population is upon us, and many families are caring for aging parents and or grandparents at home. And without the resources or support systems that might be more available elsewhere in our part of the country, we don't have them. Or they're very expensive to get your loved one into one of those facilities. So that's one reason I'm pushing for legislation related to dementia care, long-term care access, and I'm looking into some other legislation that I've been able to research and saw that was passed in the state of Washington. I think it was called the Washington Cares Fund, and I'm going to continue to access and evaluate and hopefully bring back some quality ideas to our West Virginia legislation
That's
pertaining
great.
to those topics.
We actually have the director of the Washington Cares Fund coming to speak at our summer meeting in Chicago, so that's very timely.
Oh man, I did not know
There you
that.
go.
I have questions. I don't want to, the ultimate sign of flattery is what to duplicate one's work, something like that.
Yeah.
And I'm looking to duplicate that work. And I know they made a couple amendments and changed it. And finally, I think got it right. And to be quite honest, today's June 30th. I believe that new law goes into effect tomorrow,
Yeah,
July 1 of 2025.
it's great.
So I'm watching, I'll be listening, and I want to bring it back to West Virginia. I think it's a great program.
Awesome. Yeah. So it'd be
Mhm.
good. It'd be a good opportunity to ask some questions in July then.
Now I just need to make it, right?
So
Uh,
obviously you serve in your legislative capacity. You're also an agent. Do you see any benefits to NCOIL for non-legislators, consumer groups, insurance industry, personnel, things like that?
well, absolutely. One of NCOIL's greatest strengths is bringing insurance professionals, stakeholders, legislators together with one shared goal, one vision, and that's to create a balanced, quality legislation that protects consumers while supporting a strong, uh, healthy industry. And everyone has a seat at the table. And man, that only leads to smarter policy and smarter legislation. So it's a great opportunity for all, and I love collaborating with all of them.
It's great. So based on your service, I guess both at NCOIL and in West Virginia, do you see partisanship having an impact on insurance issues, as we kind of see with other issues and other legislative bodies around the country?
In my experience over the past 4 years, Patrick, partisanship hasn't interfered with quality legislation. When it comes to insurance or banking, either in West Virginia or within NCOIL, what I've seen is a shared commitment to working together professionally. We all share one goal. We all have one vision to collaborate, ask the questions like we just discussed, talked about, and develop thoughtful, effective legislation that benefits both consumers and the industry. Opportunity is the word I would use when it comes to partisanship.
That's always a good thing to hear then. So glad to hear the system's working well.
Yeah.
Do you have any favorite model law or issue that you've worked on throughout your time at NCOIL or in the West Virginia legislature relating to insurance?
Well, I've been engaged for just 3 years, 4 years, going on four. Give kudos to Delegate Westfall with the legislation he worked on in regards to the dental loss ratio. We're still trying to apply that uh, within our legislation. But the one issue I've been watching closely and I think has real potential is the model law dealing with the aerial imagery. We were just in Charleston, South Carolina. A lot of discussion was had about what level, what height to get the most quality photos. I really believe that's important. For property inspections, as an agent, I understand the benefit of using aerial technology to speed up underwriting, reduce costs, and give insurers a broader view of the risk. But coming from my background as an insurance agent, I've also seen the other side of it. And the other side of it is some homeowners feel like they've been blindsided by decisions made from above, literally, with no conversation, with no clarity. And that's up to the agent. But it's also up to the agent to gain the knowledge to understand it so the policyholder understands why that decision was made. So in the industry in regards to aerial imagery, we need transparency. We need fairness. I believe the technology is useful. We must have standards that guarantee accuracy and fairness. And this model law is an opportunity to balance that innovation with some empathy and the kind of policy that I'll always support. And I appreciate NCOIL taking it on.
Certainly no shortage of issues, especially surrounding that and everything in the insurance space. So naturally, we've discussed some
Yes.
of the positive things about NCOIL, but there's of course always things as an organization we can do differently, improve on. How would you like to see the organization change going forward in the years ahead?
Now, who am I to tell you what we can do to change to make things better? Holy cow. Um, when I think about NCOIL and how NCOIL can improve, uh, my opinion, I don't necessarily see it as steps the organization needs to take, but rather steps as members should be taking. Dale Carnegie said it best. I took a class at Dale Carnegie, I love his book, that taught that real influence comes from not demanding change, but inspiring it through example. I think we as members have a responsibility to go back to our states and talk up the topics that we've explored. Talk up about the experience, the positive sides. that we get to communicate, we get to connect with legislators from all around the country. Holy cow, what great connections, what great, what a great opportunity. So in doing that, we need to take that back to our states. We need to make sure that we're welcoming others into this experience, not just our newer or freshman members, but also our more seasoned colleagues. Sometimes we assume our experienced members are already plugged in, but sometimes they need to feel included and energized too with the new association. They're involved in what they want to be involved with. Hey, Patrick, I just went to NCOIL in Charleston, South Carolina. What a great experience. You asked me questions about long-term care. This is where I picked up on that topic. That's where I picked up the knowledge to answer your questions. Won't you go with me next meeting we have in Chicago? And so they need to feel included. But I believe it's what the members can do, not NCOIL, that can improve the NCOIL experience.
That's great to hear. And so we would love to see that implemented. We love, our repeat legislators coming back and getting involved in the organizations. So thank you very much for that advice. And
We say plus one. We come back to our next meeting, bring one,
there you
bring
go.
one more, bring somebody with you.
That's great. Yeah, it would be awesome. So before we wrap up, we have a quick lightning round of questions. These are real hard-hitting ones. Can you
It's
tell
not good
us?
for an insurance agent talking about hail damage and storms. You're talking about lightning now. So go ahead.
Can you tell us your favorite all-time movie?
Well, you know, the one that sticks with me, it's going to tell my age big time, but an old movie, and it's because of my dad. I'll be honest. My father is a large influence. My parents was the primary influence in my life. Um, old Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. Now, you probably
Nice.
never heard of that movie, Patrick, but there's a lot of listeners that have. And that's because my dad loved watching old Western movies, and he passed that along to me. It's just the Butch Cassidy and Sundance Kids, all about camaraderie, friendship, working together. They fought together, ultimately died together. But that bond, that companionship, just stuck with me. And I just like entertainment when watching a movie. I want to take away my daily stress and pressures and engage in a movie that brings that calmness, that peace out in me. And my wife and I just went to F1 over the weekend, and what a great movie. 2 weeks before that, we went to Mission Impossible. Man, I wish I could do what he does at his age. But, it's amazing. But for me, the Westerns, the old John Wayne, Clint Eastwood movies, just good old Westerns. Clint Eastwood said, "Boy, you better get busy living or get busy dying." And I like to get busy living.
There you go. Favorite all-time food?
Well, that's an easy one, Patrick. It is a big old pan of lasagna, man.
I think
Uh,
I would agree with you on that. Favorite
if
all-time book or author?
if I had to name a book that really shaped how I interact with others, it is that How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. It's a timeless lesson in leadership and human connection. A simple concept for me that goes back to the gold rule. You treat others the way you want others to treat you. That's just the way that I treat people, and that is the Walter Hall everyone gets when they meet me.
That's awesome. Song or musical artist?
I had to not show my age again and mention Elvis Presley, so I don't know who that old feller was. But let's get to one that still touches my heart and makes me move my head a little bit. I won't sing you any of the verses, but it's the Eagles.
Nice.
The all-time favorite Eagles song is "Take It Easy." There's a line in there that says, "Don't let the sound of your own wheels drive you crazy." I believe what it's saying is a good reminder to all of us just to slow down, stay grounded, and don't take yourself too seriously. At this point, I probably should sing a verse just to show you that, but I'll keep it professional. But the Eagles,
I have Take It Easy on my playlist, so I agree with you on that.
all
Favorite
right.
all-time TV show?
Well, that was tough to pick just one all-time favorite TV shows because I enjoy that moment or that escape and getting on my couch and not studying topics and dealing with phone calls and texts and emails. So, I go back to the old day of the Hill Street Blues. Hill Street Blues was a great police drama back in the day that was way ahead of its time. We've got other NCIS, man. I watched several last night just catching up on Gibbs, but MASH and Cheers, the laughs and the feeling of hanging out with your friends each week, pretty awesome.
All good shows. And then the last one, three dinner party guests, living or dead.
I heard you ask this question to another delegate, and I watched online, and man, I put a lot of thought into this one, Patrick, because I'll try not to get emotional on my third one here. But, I'd like to sit down at the dinner table with Ronald Reagan. His ability to lead, his ability to communicate with both sides of the aisle, all people. Gorbachev, tear down that wall. And, just I'd love to chat with him a little more. Billy Graham, wow, faith, influence around the world. Um, and then my parents. Both my parents passed away before I got into public office. I'd love to hear their thoughts on today's world. I love to share my journey with them and the challenges and the fun and the good and the bad and the everything with them. Uh, how about we do that at a dinner table with a big old pan of lasagna and some garlic bread? It brings me comfort, Patrick, knowing that I will get to have that meal again with my mom and dad one day when we're reunited in heaven. And my faith will get me through these tough times and good
Well,
times.
there you go. They have many reasons to be proud, and you're definitely living their legacy on. So, thank you for your service. Thank you so much for taking the time, and we appreciate you being our guest on this month's NCOIL one-on-one interview.
Oh, awesome, Patrick. Thanks for the opportunity. And everybody go make a difference and perform one random act of kindness today.
There you go. All right. I think on that note, we thank you very much, and we'll look forward to seeing you in Chicago.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Patrick.
Thank you.